Happy 4th of July, garden update. I'm going to dedicate this garden update to my dad. Dropped out of high school, lied about his age, joined the Army, was in the Pacific at the end of the war. I remember him being pretty broken up when Douglas MacArthur died. Joined the Illinois State National Guard after that, worked his way up to Command Sergeant Major. He was in California during the Korean War, never got sent overseas. Flower bed's looking great. The perennials are looking good. The marigolds that I planted from seed are just now starting to bloom. Blanket flowers are beautiful. Been deadheading those not often enough. Truth is, I was gone most of last week at coaching at a throwing camp. Throw One Deep, great throwing camp if you know somebody that throws a shot, discus, hammer, or javelin. And then Saturday afternoon was spent with a couple of the grandkids. I loafed too much on Sunday. Monday, we went to the zoo. Yesterday, we went to the pool. We've been eating on these potatoes. It looks like it's time to harvest the rest of them. I'll do that today. The beans that I planted 2 weeks ago are already really tall. I'm going to turn those under. This is going to be my green manure crop, and I'll let this rest a couple of weeks before I do anything with it. The lettuce is great. This is slow to bolt. We had some last night in what we call a wilted lettuce salad. You fry some bacon up, cut up some small onions, which we're short of small onions. And once you've fried up the bacon, you leave a little of that bacon grease in the pan. Add some vinegar. I don't know how much, my wife does it. And put in the lettuce and stir it around. One of my favorite salads of all time. These are zucchini and crookneck squash that are just now coming up. Looking good. These squash are still producing. We've frozen several bags of those for the winter. Canna lilies. I think I'm ahead of the bugs right now. As I walk down here, there were a couple of hummingbirds sipping on the nectar. They have since vanished, but they'll be back as soon as I leave. Jerusalem artichoke here, getting ready to bloom. I've tied it up. It usually breaks and leans over, but I'm trying to keep ahead of it this summer too. The lotus continued to bloom. I don't see any new blooms coming on now, but yesterday there were two of them that were really pretty. One losing its flowers today. The glads. Finally have a bloom coming on the gladiolas here. The 4 o'clocks just take over this area. This is a pomegranate bush that's never bloomed. I changed its location this year, and hopefully it'll do better. It's about 10 years old, never produced anything. The water lily looking good here. Hasn't bloomed yet. I'm trying to keep the 4 o'clocks off of it. This lotus hasn't bloomed yet this year. These are some wildflowers and weeds over here that are just starting to bloom. Variety of egg yolk here. What this plant was not contained in it. It has really sprawled out. This one is in Grandpa Johnson's windmill. Peppers continue to produce, as well as the cucumbers. I've got several cucumbers that'll be chicken food today and compost. Disappointed in this black plum. It's supposed to be an indeterminate tomato, and it is still growing at the top, but the tomatoes are small and they weren't that great of number as you compare them to the Roma tomatoes over here. This variety of aromas really did great though. I'll probably do that again next year. This is really fun. These Supertine cucumbers. Look at the size of this guy. Now, I've just let this keep growing in here for novelty. There are several of them in there, not quite that size. The one growing over here. Oh, there's a big one. And they're heavy. And as you can see, I've got a lot of these weeds here that I need to pull today. Some beautiful peppers in here. A couple of these peppers to grill with the broth and the sweet corn. I missed a golden opportunity last week when this was at its perfection. So today I'll be cleaning that out. That's a lot of work. I am going to pick the corn. I had a piece of this sweet corn last night. It is way past its prime. It'll mainly be chicken food. I'll probably let it dry on the cob here, but I'm going to clean this out today and get it ready for some new sweet corn. I'm going to plant a variety, a 80-day variety, so that'll be ready in early September if it doesn't get too hot. The problem with planting sweet corn at this time is that it could get too hot and the tassels out and the silks dry out before they can get fertilized. But it's worth a gamble, I think. I want to show you a couple cucumbers here. This is the hazards of growing them in the rocks. This one's right. I left this one in here. I left this guy right here seeing if he would move the rocks, but he hasn't. Oh, he's really wedged in there. You can't see it, but it's made a V down in there. That's gonna be really hard to get out. This is cool. Got it out. So I chopped up a bunch of the corn stalks and a bunch of the overripe cucumbers, and I've been going through this bed. I didn't show you that because I don't have a shirt on, and I know my daughters would be appalled if their 60-something-year-old father appeared on YouTube without a shirt. So I've probably picked out another dozen or two potatoes out of this. And this is exactly how this potato bed started last year, was with basically a compost bin. A couple more nice potatoes right there. Save those. So I'm going to put a layer of dirt on here. I've taken the rest of the dirt that was in here and put it on top of those beans that I turned over today. Get it all to this side. I'll put another layer here in the middle. And we'll cover that with some fresh horse manure from Pooh Mountain.